So can you actually make money out of sustainability? The answer is yes. And it has nothing to do with planting trees or giving money to charity. So the game forces me to actually be in the moment and focused while having a really relaxing time. And bad practice to accept what I would see as slave labor to do my website. You have to walk the talk. Hello cookies, it's Siri, I am back. This is the first episode of my Business Diaries series. I just got back from the gym. Today was leg day, and for the first time in many years, I really struggled doing squats. I did 12 and a half on each side with the 20 kilos bar. It was so difficult. In my defense, I did deadlifts before, and I did 8 sets of deadlifts, quite heavy, and then squats, so maybe that's why. But before we start this series, I need to eat. Today's food is pasta. I'm not a big fan of pasta, but it's the quickest thing. I made for breakfast these vegan scrambled eggs that are tofu based, so silken tofu, with some zucchini, some mushrooms, walnuts as well. If you hear noise, it's Sebastian in the background. And then nutritional yeast. It's the first time that I'm using nutritional yeast, and it really does taste like cheese. So this is nice. And then some dark pasta that is supposedly healthier, and it works. It's just quick. And of course I have a protein shake. This is from the brand called Vetayin. That is a vegan brand. This is the banana flavor. It's the best flavor out of all the flavors. This tastes really nice. You would think that banana does not taste that great. Their shakes are not sweetened, which is perfect because I don't like sweet stuff after the gym. I took a shower, washed my hair, and had to take a nap. I was exhausted. That happens often after leg day because that is my heaviest gym day of the week. It is intense and I was just knocked out. As the title says, I am creating a business that no one understands. And by no one, I mean no one that I have talked to that was not a classmate of mine understands. One of my brothers kind of understands what I'm doing, and the other one thinks that it's a charity. So the business I am setting up is a sustainability consulting company geared towards small businesses that have between 1 to 25 employees. So my youngest brother thinks that it's charity, and he clearly told me that he thinks sustainability is something where you just waste money. And he was really surprised when I told him about the concept of people, planet, profit. He had no idea that profit was a concept that sustainability talked about. And for many years, he has never bothered to Google. Let's not get sidetracked here because I am indeed a bit irritated that my own brother, who has known for a very long time that I have wanted to create a company in the sustainability field, has not even taken the time to Google what it really is and what it entails, even though he is an entrepreneur himself and is a small business owner himself. He thinks that sustainability is basically taking money and donating it to charities and to planting trees. So can you actually make money out of sustainability? The answer is yes. And it has nothing to do with planting trees or giving money to charity or reducing the amount of things you produce so that you look better in terms of environmental data. It's really not that at all. This format is going to be more casual than my usual videos because I really want this to be a diary of me setting up my company. I am good at sustainability. I dare say that I am really freaking good at it. I am good at public speaking. I am thorough with my work, finding the details, checking out numbers. I am good at working. However, I am not good at setting up a company. I have not studied that. I am not sure how to do that. Part of me was thinking that if you are trying to set up a company and a business, you should be super good at it. But at the same time, the value that I want to bring to companies is sustainability and sustainability solutions that are practical and concrete. Currently doing my website. I started a few weeks ago, but I am first a sustainability strategist. I am not a web developer. I am not a marketing specialist. I studied marketing before at film school with sustainability as well. I mean, sustainability, communication and marketing. But marketing a company, that is a bit harder. And that's why I wanted to create this diary vlog so that we can go through this process together. So I have in front of me my homepage that I have created. Reasons why a small company should work with sustainability. First, it's more customers and visibility, including on certain platforms that only showcase sustainable companies. You will have access to bigger clients because large companies actually have to work on their supply chains, and there is growing pressure from lawmakers on them to submit papers. So if they're going to choose between two different small businesses to supply them of things, raw materials, or even digital services, they will pick the one that works with sustainability because that is safer for them and less work for them, and it looks good for them. Then, of course, stronger resilience. We have seen tariffs, we have seen wars, we have seen a pandemic. If you adapt sustainability into your small business, you will be better at facing risks. And then, of course, you'll have bigger financial savings because you will use fewer resources, reduce waste. For the savings, that also includes manpower, because if people quit and you have to do onboarding all the time, that costs a lot of time and that costs a lot of money for small companies. So there are a lot of financial savings that are involved. I'm not going to list them all because that would be like 100. Then of course you build a better reputation, especially as a small business. Word of mouth is very important, and you will attract and keep the right people. So many people nowadays want to have a purpose with their work. It's not necessarily that people do not want to work. People want to work and be paid properly and be respected as human beings. But also, we increasingly want to find purpose. You want to actually feel like your work is doing something, or that at least your company is not creating more trash in the world or less value. By working with sustainability, you will attract people that care and also that feel like they don't mind giving 8 hours a day to your company because your company cares. You will create real world impact. So this is the more kind thing. So you will help your community, the planet. I would understand that this would be the least focus if someone has a business. And then the last benefit would be access to funds and grants. Especially if you're a small company, many countries and continents have a lot of grants and competitions. Some focus on sustainability. So if you work with that, you have better chances of getting that kind of money. Another question that you might ask, and I will answer, cookies, is why small businesses of 1 to 25 people? They can implement change much faster. The second is that they already have a lot of trust from the community. The third is that a small bakery can do so much for the community. Someone who teaches math or English or Chinese can do so much for the community. So small businesses have a lot of power, but they do not have the budget to hire a full-time sustainability strategist or sustainability specialist. They don't have the time either to Google, to look around. And to be fair, I have Googled around quite a lot in the last 6 months since I have been planning this whole business adventure. The articles geared towards small businesses or tips and tricks geared towards small businesses were really bad. Some of them were way too complicated and going into way too much details. And I'm thinking, are you talking to a sustainability specialist? Or are you talking to someone who owns a ceramics company? They're 4 people and they're just trying to do better with sustainability. Or they were way too superficial and really not up to standards like ISO or the EU CSRD and ESRS standards or VSME reporting standards. And yes, I am looking at my website here so that I don't forget, and there are a lot more frameworks, but either what I have noticed geared towards small businesses is too shallow, or it is way too complicated, and that's where I want to come in. This has really nothing to do with plant some trees and donate to your local charity. Yes, that is nice, but that should be the cherry on top of all your sustainability work, unless you already run a perfectly sustainable company. And the goal here is to not be perfect, because a perfect business is a business that does not exist. That would be really sad. That would suck. But we can try to work towards being better and better and better, even if the start is quite lousy. That's not an issue. When there's a will, there's a way. That's always been my personal motto and also my professional motto. I'm interrupting all of this long, passionate monologue to talk about the game of the day. The game of the day is Islanders New Shores. You're probably as surprised as I am that I'm playing a game like that because it is a puzzle game. For those of you who have watched this channel for a few years and seen me talk about games, I do not like puzzle games. I went into it thinking it would be more cozy and more puzzly, but it's actually more strategic, and strategic games are my favorite type of games. Strategy RPG or strategy cozy games or strategy fighting games, strategy racing games, anything that is related to strategy. And that is not because I'm a sustainability strategist. Ooh. My hair is really bomb today. I'm using new products. I just really love strategy games and I don't mind thinking for 15 minutes before making a turn in any game. The one thing I love the most about it is that it's helping my attention span. I thought that I could play it while watching random YouTube videos in the background or listening to podcasts, but no. So the game forces me to actually be in the moment and focused while having a really relaxing time. So the goal is to have as many points as possible with the random buildings that are spawned by the game to you, and so you place them on the island. There is a sandbox mode, I think, where you can just play without thinking of the points and you can just make your islands look nice. But for me, that sounds really boring. I don't want to do that. If you have buildings close to statues, they usually get a lot of extra points, but the statues are always placed in the worst freaking areas and there's not enough space and you have to think, okay, which buildings are better to place closer to the statue to maximize the points. I am so glad that I tried the demo. I played on the Steam Deck, no issues there. So playing Islanders New Shores docked is freaking amazing because then you can see the island in big and you can play strategically, but also playing on the Steam Deck in bed works too. I've always wanted to create my own company since I was small. I tried when I lived in Malta with my ex-husband, but I needed his help a lot. He did not help me the way that I would have needed for my company. So for example, even for the website, I depended on him because I don't know how to code, and he created this quite lousy looking website and would not update it for me if I wanted something updated, and I just always thought that I would never be able to make my own website or do anything remotely close to an okay website. When there's a will, there's a way, and I am building it. My homepage is done. My services, frequently asked questions, about us and contact, are not done yet. I am currently trying to do the about us. I've just watched, I don't know, 30 YouTube videos and Googled a lot and argued a lot with ChatGPT because it just can't explain website stuff to me. The reason I have not hired a web developer to make my website is because I can't afford it. My budget would be at most 400 euros for a website, which for the kind of website I want could be attainable, but I'm not entirely sure because no one wants to give a full quote, or they just say, $50. And if I'm going to work in sustainability, to me it is a bad karma and bad practice to accept what I would see as slave labor to do my website. It just does not sit right. You have to walk the talk. And I cannot pay someone so little knowing that they might need to spend a week to make my website or something like that. I have no idea. For me now it's been 7-8 weeks and I'm still only at my homepage, but I am coming from zero. I feel super proud about it too, regardless of how it goes for the company, regardless of how it turns out to be. Now I'm more confident and it feels like such freaking revenge that back then I had to depend and beg my ex-husband to help me create a website, and it would be so much resistance coming from there. And now I am just doing it myself. It feels freaking amazing. It's just... So that is the short, I hope, introduction of my company. It's so disappointing because This should not happen. Let's call Sebastian.
Hello?
Hi Seb.
Yeah?
I am super upset right now. And just so you know, you are recorded as well for YouTube on loudspeakers. I am trying to get my .com domain name with the cookies, and I have checked many times in the last couple of weeks. It was at around 5, 6, 7 euros at most, and now everywhere it's at more than 2,000. And I knew that there was a risk this could happen,